Alright, you may or may not be able to see anything, but we now have the intake manifold out. You probably can't see anything, but I'm just going to do a little run through of what you do to get it out. Here's the intake manifold itself. It's not a very difficult thing to remove. Labor intensive. It's not labor intensive. The hardest thing to do with it is, well, I guess taking it out is just time consuming. It's not difficult. It's held in there by 8 bolts pretty much. You have one here, there's 8 of them, they're 10 millimeter. You take that one, and this one, and that one, and that one, and that one, and where'd that one go? There, there, and there. When you take that out, you disconnect the heater core lines and the top of the thermostat housing. Those are 2 very long 10 millimeter bolts. And then the fuel injectors sit down in here, all the way down. You take all those out. You can leave them on the rail. You just undo them. They have 2, I think they're 5/8 is what fit them to come out. There's one there, and then there's one here that hold the rail in, and that's all that holds them in. And then you wiggle them and jiggle them, and they'll all pop out of the holder onto the rail on both sides. They're the same way. And you pull that out, and when that's out, you disconnect the little coil packs here all the way down. It's got a little snap. You just pinch the top of it and it comes right out. The intake itself is very simple to remove. And I'm sorry that I didn't videotape while I was doing it. I didn't have someone to help me. I think that's throttle position. That comes out. Undo the cables here for the accelerator and the cruise control. You simply just move the throttle down to where it's wide open, and then the cable will come out of the end, and then you pop the end off. Then you undo the vacuum lines here. There's 3. And then you undo this hose here, undo that sensor, and the 2 vacuum lines here. And then there's 1, 2, 3, 4. I think those are 5/8 bolts also that hold that in. And then that comes right off after you take the air cleaner breather part off, which is here, which is you just need a flat head to take the little metal bands off. Then you have a bracket here for this sensor, 2 10 millimeter bolts, 2 vacuum lines, and a position sensor that you take off. Bracket here for the side that holds the power steering. I think it's the power steering booster on. And then you remove the alternator. To do that, get your cheater bar, put it on the tensioner. There's a if you have a 1/2 inch breaker bar, it'll go straight into the tensioner without any socket on there. It's got a square cutout made for it, so you can put it in there, you can push down on it, relieve the tension, pull the belt off, and you take out those 2 10 millimeter bolts. And then the bracket over there, it was on the truck actually, it's got a bolt that goes in through the back. You take it off, and then you take the positive feed off, it charges. Take off the feed wire and the computer plug. The alternator will come right off. My coolant will spill when you decide to pull it off, so I got a little drain box there that I use to catch most of the coolant. And there's the injectors. Like I said, you can leave them hooked to the rail. And then you pretty much just have a whole bunch of vacuum lines to deal with. The injector rails will just hang right here. There's the EGR. I was able to wiggle it without having to take it all the way off to get it around it. Injectors for that side, you can see. And this is a very good time to do your spark plugs. They're down in these holes right here. I already removed, I think I removed that one, but not that one. Yeah, you can still see it in there. And then there's your puddle of coolant that'll fill up down here. You just got to get all that out. But as far as actually removing it goes, it's not real difficult. The biggest part is all the vacuum lines and little sensors that you unplug, and then a whole lot of wiggling. And you take the main bolts out, wiggle it real good, and out it comes. Now this thing is plastic, as you can tell, and I've probably mentioned before. And I don't know if that's an indicator or not, but this may already have been a junkyard part. Typically when they come from a junkyard, junkyards take pins and write on them to let you know, this is a junkyard part. I could be wrong, and I probably am, but a lot of them have yellow markings on it, which, like I said, I could be very, 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 very wrong. It kind of looks like a junkyard part. And then there's a crack there, as you can see. And I don't think that's supposed to be there. And there's a big crack there. And then there's a couple cracks up here. I saw them earlier. But, nothing difficult to this thing, just time consuming.